Hello again. This is an update on the upgrade to my K40 laser, where I'm increasing the size of the cutting area from 300 by 200 to 600 by 400. And in the last video I built the frame and I put the linear rails on the X and the Y rails, and now a little progress report. I've got the two-stepper motors on and the tensioning, and I've got two belts. I haven't yet put the slave belt in position, which is this, because I've sent for some pillow bearings and they haven't arrived yet, but that will go in there like that, and with a belt down to here, and there'll be a filler rod between here and here with two flexible couplings. I've got the X stepper motor here underneath, and I've got the X home position, and you can't see it from there, the Y home position, but I'll turn it around shortly and you'll be able to see that. But right now, if I were to connect it up, I should be able to see if it works. Obviously not the laser isn't yet installed, but we can see if the motors are working and doing what they're supposed to do. And I can't wait, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rig it up and test it. Okay. So I've got this jury rigged. I've got the high voltage cable insulated for safety. That's not obviously attached to the laser tube. Power supply is plugged into the control board. The strip lead is plugged into the daughter board under there, and the power's on. The Y motor, I've only got one belt on the Y motor, so I think it will work without the two belts, but we'll have a look. We'll see what happens. So the power to the power supply is on, and all I've got to do is to turn the panel switch on, and I've got the X pushed home and the Y pushed home, and what should happen is that it should jog just a little when I put the power on and just bring it to the 0-0 position. So here we go. Yay! Brilliant! Brilliant! Oh, I'm delighted. Okay, let's go a bit more. I'm going to pull it out just a little, and obviously when I switch on it should go back to the home position and then jog out to 0-0. Oh, what can I say? I'm delighted. Absolutely, she's alive. Okay, let's come right up to here. Right up to here. So we're now on maximum, which is it's about 620 by 430, I think. I haven't yet measured it accurately, but it's something like that. So here we go. Oh, brilliant. So the one belt does drive it. I thought it might. And I put the motor at the back here, out of the way, which brings the tension down here, where I can get at it easily. And I've got one on. This one's ready for the second belt to go on, and I will put the second belt on, because it seems to make sense when you're driving such a long carriage to have the drive on both sides. Even though it does work with only one belt, I'll put both belts on. Right, now I've got a spiral set up in K40 Whisperer, so I'm just going to give that a run. So I've set K40 Whisperer to run a vector engrave of a spiral. The spiral is 600mm by 400mm. This is working absolutely perfectly, and I'm delighted. That X belt might be a little tight. That's fabulous. So we know all that works, so now we can crack on and start fitting the laser tube. And so what I'll do is I'll turn the frame round now and show you some detail at the back. Okay, this is the detail of the homing daughter boards, and this is the X flag and this is the Y flag, so that when it comes along here it goes into there, and when the whole carriage comes back it goes into there, and that's the homing control. I know it doesn't look much, but it took me an inordinate amount of time to get that right. I must have done it 3 or 4 times before I managed to do it correctly. But even now I'm a bit concerned about this. It's quite vulnerable. It's quite high, and I think what I might do is to put a little kink in this and bring it down here and bring this down here about 10mm, so that I can cut the top off and it won't be standing so proud then. And I put this, you can see this is going to be a support for the laser tube, and this cable was dragging down and fouling this as it came in. So I put this little bracket here and it just clears it, so everything's fine there, and I'm happy with that, and I'm delighted that it works mechanically. Right, let me show you the laser tube. Okay, this is the laser tube sub-assembly, and it's based on 10mm acrylic, which is 100mm wide and 600mm long, and I'm clamping and mounting the tube on these clamps which I made on the CNC router, and they're just very simple design. It just allows it to be clamped with a couple of screws, and it will be able to move up and down, and these aluminium angle brackets are slotted that way so it can move backwards and forwards like that, and the same here, so that's moved, so that can move, the whole thing can move, and this is the first mirror, and that can move back and forth like that, and this allows it to move back and forth like that, and this second angle bracket here allows it to move up and down. So I've got full control of all movement. I didn't want to go any fancier than that because I didn't really see the reason for it, because this is a one-time setup as far as I'm concerned. Once it's set up, it's set up. Okay, if something happens you may have to redo it, but not very often. So I don't need adjustment screws or anything. I'll do it all just nipping these up and just moving gently up and down or side to side or back and forth. These are the three tubes which will sit on the back of the frame, so they'll bolt to the frame, and this bolts to the tubes. And then we're not far off finishing. Just got to reattach these cables, these wires, set the mirrors, and away we go. I'll be back.